It's 7:31 a.m. and you're listening to another episode of Monday Morning Mullovers. Joining me, Carol Dogherty, in the studio today to discuss the issues surrounding gay marriage is Richard Woof. Richard, hello.
Hello, Carol. Or should I say...
Yeah. The conversation around gay marriage is one that seemingly surfaces almost constantly, with the opening of the Olympics in Russia and the recent comments of a certain MP who resigned after describing homosexuality as unnatural and weird. The debate is more active than ever. Richard, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll tell you what is weird though. Why are lesbians always pale?
What?
They are always pale. Even black ones. Like, they never see daylight.
I think they do see daylight.
They've all got this sort of sunken, haunted look that says, you don't want to know what I've seen. And it's like, listen, love, I'm straight. I've seen exactly what you've seen, and they're not that bad.
Richard, could we possibly discuss maybe the more political side of this particular issue and not get sidetracked with the personal?
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, I did actually have a joke about this.
I did.
It's tasteful, honest, it's not like the Mandela one.
I did.
You know the female punk band in Russia?
Yeah.
And did you read the news article about the guy in the Red Square who nailed his...
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if you're a follower of mine on Twitter, sorry to repeat myself, but I basically put out a status saying, in inverted commas, what you in for? Pussy riot. You? Scrotum sabotage. Nice.
What could you...
It's better written down.
Yeah. Richard, do you have any idea why there is still such a resistance to homosexual people marrying?
I think it's got a lot to do with an old-fashioned and inaccurate sense of perception.
Right, okay.
We, the British, are on the whole quite reserved, quite traditional, and it's like those of us who have stayed straight are still a bit Victorian, and those of us who have gone gay are kind of fresh, kind of cool, kind of happening. Which is why I think people say stupid things like, oh, I wish I was gay, because they're attracted to lifestyles that then they don't know. You know, there's centuries of romantic literature out there where the boy gets the girl, or the girl gets the boy, or vice versa, but never the opposite.
Okay.
You know, the girl who gets the girl with the shorter haircut and a degree in engineering. Juliet and Brenda.
Right, I'm kind of with you on this, but...
Because that is the way they do it, usually, lesbians. There's a feminine one and a butch one. There's a boy lesbian and a girl lesbian.
I'm sure there are plenty of boy lesbian couples.
Bit gay.
I'm interested to explore what
Double
you said.
gay.
What did you say about inaccurate perception earlier?
Well,
maybe expand on that a bit.
I mean, well, for example, I think the broad male view of lesbians is that they're just killing time between willies.
Richard, really?
Which is
that...
obviously wrong, because in today's world they can just buy a plastic one.
You really think that's what all men think about lesbians?
Yeah. I can prove it as well. If you came into the studio this morning and said, "Hi Richard, went to bed with two gay guys last night,"
That's really not appropriate.
I'd be like, "Why, Carol? I thought you and George were patching things up."
That's
Whereas,
definitely not.
if I went to the pub, met the fellas for a few, and I said, "Hey guys, went to bed with a couple of lesbians last night," they'd be like, "He's done it again, classic RW." I mean, they'd probably ask what happened to Mrs. Woof, but you get what I'm driving at.
Sort of.
And what would actually happen if I went to bed with two lesbians? I'll tell you. They would probably have a great night, and Muggins here would be curled in the fetal position, wrestling an erection the size of Portugal.
Oh.
Just like you and the gay guys. What I'm trying to say is, we lack a lot of the cultural vocabulary needed to understand people who aren't straight. I mean, we've got a lot of words for people who aren't.
Richard, let's not go into...
Homos,
No.
benders, gay lords, lesbos.
Yeah. Right,
dancos.
okay, and do you think that...
Oh, and personal favourite, clam slammers.
Yeah.
It's so evocative, isn't it?
No, that's not the word.
You can just see it.
I'm not thinking...
Slamming away.
Well, now I am.
Clam on clam. I know we're not meant to laugh, but I do believe in laughter being the best medicine. I mean, unless it's an actual illness. Especially if you've come down with a bad case of bigotry. Confession time. I'm not a bigot, and I find the word faggot hilarious.
You cannot say that, Richard.
Someone has to,
You
Carol.
can't say that.
That word should be reclaimed by comedy. It's got a double G, which makes it very funny, like bugger, or...
A word that will get you fired.
I wasn't thinking of that one. But it's a funny word. And surely, if we're going to take a social step forward as mankind, we should rid it of any negative feeling and just use it as completely harmless jibe to goad your mates. One that's considered universally unoffensive and PC, like twat.
Richard, please stop.
It's upsetting me that this is even still an issue.
I agree.
I've completely lost the novelty of gay people.
I don't anymore.
I went to private school.
Yes, I know.
There was one black kid in the whole school from Gambia.
It's Gambia.
Right. And I'm a naturally inquisitive soul, as you know. I befriended Tony, I know, I was as surprised as you are. And I wanted to learn everything about his culture, his homeland, his mum, and I did. And we're still in touch. Me and Tony, not his mum, she died.
What's your point, Richard?
Well, now I live in the city, and black people like Tony or gay people are all as common as muck. And you know something? Most of them are just as boring as we are.
Well, thank you, Richard. I'm being told we need to stop now. Richard and I will be back in just a few moments to discuss anything you have sent in about today's topic. First, here's Busted Rhymes with Trusted, Lusted, Flustered, Mustard. Welcome back to Monday Morning Mullovers. Before we discuss some of the messages you've sent in during the break, I believe my co-host has something to say.
Thank you, Carol. Before the break, I said a word that, well, as I said a few, but one in particular seemed to not go down too well. It was the F one, meaning homosexual.
Yes, we all heard what it was.
Or pork parcel. I am truly sorry for any or sticks tied together with twine makes them stronger. I'm truly sorry for any offence caused. I was only trying to be progressive.
Richard.
But as many of you pointed out, it is a word with incredibly volatile connotations, and I'm sorry for trivialising it.
Thank you. Now, we've had some very interesting feedback from you all, though most of it was complaints about Richard.
Oh, let's move on.
Suzanne from Barnsley has written in saying she was very interested to know what we thought about the Catholic MP who recently said that flooding was God's judgment on us for accepting homosexuals. Richard, what are your thoughts?
He's an idiot. I would counter with wondering if homosexuals aren't God's judgment on Catholics for having way too many kids and killing our planet. I've got one from Glenn in Pudsey. He says, Richard, you forgot Scissor Sisters. Yes, I did, Glenn. That also means lesbians. Yes, I think they got that one from the band.
Terry from Edinburgh writes, I'm with Richard.
There you go.
Fussing over words will only ever hold us back. Instead of censoring syllables, how about we punish actual physical wrongdoing? Without words, we would not be able to educate future generations. So you do have people who support you, Richard.
Yeah, but without actions, we won't be able to procreate and conceive future generations. So, I mean, his heart's in the right place, but he lacks focus. Another one from Donna in Saffron Walder, Womb Raider. I find that one a bit distasteful, actually, Donna, but keep them coming.
Another person on your side, Hilda from Hull writes, Richard may be somewhat clumsy in his delivery, but I believe his message, however rambling, is one of hope and weariness in regard of an issue that we should all now rise above. I feel great fondness and kinsmanship for Mr. Woof, despite his lax grasp on radio etiquette.
Patronising cow. Phil from Brighton says, Beam flickers! That one I don't get, Phil. Must be a Brighton thing.
Sylvia in Cardiff says, Richard Woof does not need to apologise for expressing something that was heartfelt and honest. With all the lies and pandering that are presented in modern media, all with a crocodile smile and coated in PC vocab, someone saying something has to change for the better is nothing to be apologised for. Seems like every day someone's apologising for saying something they believe in, be it good or bad. I'm sick of it. Has this country lost its balls? Stand by your word.
Yeah, I'm with Sylvia on this one. I shouldn't have apologised, and for that, I'm truly sorry. Must have sounded like a right faggot.
The time is 7:45. This has been Monday Morning Mullovers. I've been Carol Dogherty, joined today by Richard Woof. Thanks, Richard.
Woof.